Hi there, Gemma here. So I thought I would talk us through a different posture, one that's really nice for relieving lower backache, and it's called child's pose. And there's different variations. I think about 99% of the population probably know this posture, but I thought I'd go for it anyway because there's different adjustments we can do to make it more comfortable. And one thing I'm very conscious about with child's pose as well is anybody who's got knee issues. And to be honest, even if you haven't got knee issues, I find the older I get, generally my knees ache more. I would definitely recommend, if you're using a yoga mat, have maybe a rolled up blanket or towel to use whenever you're doing anything where you're resting on your knees, because we should look after our knees. They're really, really important joints in our body. So if you have got bad knees, definitely have a rolled up towel or blanket. It doesn't have to be, too thick, but just some extra cushioning, or you can roll up the end of your mat so you've got extra cushioning. But even if you haven't got bad knees now, because you're young, fit, healthy, great knees, great kneecaps, great tendons, muscles, strength all around there, then long term you might want to just put cushions under there and look after them. Okay, so the next thing we do is we're coming onto the knees and we're letting the feet just relax behind us. Now, another point where we can find this uncomfortable is if we've had any ankle issues. So because when we lay the feet behind us, and I'm sorry I've just popped out a shot there, you can see my feet are laid flat, and that's putting a little bit of flexion there into the front of the ankle, so that can be uncomfortable. The other thing that can be uncomfortable is the bum coming down behind you. So we can take cushions and place them behind before we come into the posture. Next thing we do, just walk yourself forward and allow yourself to relax. And I'm exposing way too much flesh there, so I do apologise. Don't mean to traumatise anybody. So now you can see in this position, now I've got the cushion, my head is nowhere near the floor, and that's okay. What is really important, I find, when I'm teaching this posture is people, so I'm moving this arm out the way so people can see, is people doing this. This really, it does stress me out a little bit. So when I'm doing this, I'm creating a crease at the base of my cervical spine, okay, so at the base of my neck. So I'm putting a lot of pressure into this part of my neck here, and that part of the neck is really not built for heavy loads in there. So when we're in child's pose, if we've got our arms extended, the best thing to do is either just let the head sit between the arms, letting your ears just rest either side, or we can take, let me just grab my poof, just a slightly out shot. Take a cushion or a little something that you have, or a few cushions, and use that to rest the forehead on, okay? Because what we want, regardless of what posture we're in, we always want to be looking after the spine. Now, the other issue people might have in this posture is shoulder issues. So if having the arms extended causes issues, then we just let the forearms relax by the side, okay? Or we could even take them like so. Once we're in this position, again, we want to be conscious of our pelvic floor. In fact, we should be being conscious of our pelvic floor before we even go into any posture. But I haven't mentioned it, so that's my bad. So again, contracting those muscles from the back of the bottom through to the middle, round to the front, and drawing them up and keeping them in place. Drawing that navel in towards the spine, so you've got that abdominal connection going on. And we want to be tucking the tailbone under. So if I move my cushion out of the way, so we want to be tucking the tailbone under. And you can see that now I'm in child's pose, my bottom isn't near my heels. Now our aim is to try and bring it down. But if it's nowhere near, that's absolutely fine. And we're just relaxing here. Now again, if this is uncomfortable, you're finding this too much, maybe you're like me and you've got some COVID poundage, as I call it, from eating and baking too much cake, you can take your knees wider than your hips. And then we would just come back down into that posture again. So that's going to give your tummy space, but also if you're quite large in the chest, that's also going to give you space. You won't feel as restricted. Sometimes when our chest is large, we can feel like it's affecting our breathing as well. So that's another option. If we find that this posture really is uncomfortable in the knees and having us down in this position, it's a different posture, but similar, stretching out similar muscles, is we can come forward, push the bum up, let your shoelaces be behind you, and let the head come down towards the mat. So we call this melting heart or extended puppy. And again, I'm exposing too much flesh, so I do apologise. So bums up, fingers spread out, and we could be in this position. So our bum's in the air, still tucking under, and you're still, just coming back up, you're still getting the benefit of that stretch into the lower back, but it's just giving you different options. So that is child's pose with its different options there. Thinking about that is me talking you all the way through. If you've got different injuries, you can have different arm placements as well. So you can have the arms extended out or resting on your forearms, or if you bring them by your ankles, that's what we call the fetus position. So it's like being back in the womb, so nice and safe and cocooned. And generally with child's pose, I tend to use that as a transitional move between yoga postures or a restorative posture. So we'll either be using that restoratively and just relaxing there for a few minutes, maybe at the beginning or end or somewhere in the middle, or we use it as a transition just to have a moment out before we maybe go back into another posture. So I hope you found that interesting and have a great day.